What are you doing to that tree? You are listening to nature? Fair enough, I guess. I mean, I am not complaining, considering this is the first time you're not actively being a danger to your own life in the forest. This is a massive step up on your part, but when I said listen to the voice of nature, I didn't mean to literally stick your ears to the tree trunks either. Is that so? What's it saying in that case? Yes, that sounds about right then. You really did manage to do it. Well, I know it doesn't seem like it will, but if nature says it's going to rain tonight, then who are we to say otherwise? There's this perfect harmony between elements that keeps them all connected in a way that I can't even explain. If I had to put it to words, I'd say that the air and the wind around us communicate with the trees, and the same that the tree communicated with you. Nature knows what nature will do. I have to say, I am quite impressed. It's only been 3 days since we last saw each other. Only 3 days since I began to teach you, and you've already managed to get nature to speak to you. But you'll have to ditch the whole hugging trees thing. It makes you look suspicious in an unflattering way. Alright. I was only teasing. I can't really help it. Your expressions are priceless. I see. I understand. I've always been the odd one out in my village as well. Sort of. But isn't it more dangerous for you to stand out amongst your people? I mean, if they suspect you of anything at all, they'll... I don't really want to think about it. But enough of that for now. Come, sit with me and tell me all about it. I mean everything. How did you practice? Where did you practice? How many tries did it take you to finally be able to hear the whispers? That's really fascinating. And what does it sound like to you? Well, yes. Of course it sounds different to me. Like I said before, nature will speak to anyone that listens to it, regardless of whether their intentions were pure or not. However, when it does, it chooses to do so in different ways to each and every one. You can say as much for any other tool at our disposal, I suppose. Magic is neither good nor bad. It all depends on its wielder. Same way for every weapon. A weak, old little lady? That's what it sounds like to you? I understand now why you needed to glue your ear to the tree over there. It's almost like nature is still shy around you or something. But perhaps it's because, unlike other creatures, humans don't often try to connect with nature. No, I used to think it only sounded different from one species to another, but it turned out it's different from one person to another. To me, it has always sounded like a small child calling for my attention. A child that never grew older along with me as I aged over the years. Either way, you really are off to a good start. It took me over a month to hear the first whispers from nature. I honestly thought it'd take you much longer than that. But I guess assuming so based on your age was wrong of me. True. I was very young when I first learned to listen to nature. Children are not very keen on learning something when they're told it's an obligation. The motivation, the willpower, and the desire to acquire this knowledge do count as well. I never had to think about that, considering I've never taught anyone else before in my life. Yes, maturity does count as well, it seems. And I find your method quite genius. Focusing your hearing on one part of nature at first in order to not be overwhelmed was really smart of you. But what worries me is that you did so at home, where your family members or friends can catch you in the act. I don't know. How does sitting still in front of a plant and staring at it look to people around you? How would they react? You tell me. I mean, if it was anything like the hug you were giving that tree, then yes, I have plenty to be concerned about. Look, I'm just reminding you that your people aren't as forgiving as mine when it comes to peculiarities. And you know that better than me. You live among them. I'm sorry, I soured the mood. I just don't want to lose a friend, and not this way, of all ways. Right, I almost forgot about it. I've been to our village libraries and archives. I wasn't able to sneak much out past the keepers. I had to pick one book out of the thousands in there, and I thought the best pick should be a book about witches and witchcraft. No, of course I am not joking. Go ahead, open it up and see for yourself. The language is a bit outdated, but you can still read it. I've already read all of it. I think the most interesting part to start with could be Chapter 9. It speaks of the land that the first witches recorded in history chose to make a country, a home for themselves. To be completely honest, there's something I've been wanting to talk to you about. A proposition I've been wanting to make. But the more I think about it, the more I think it's selfish and stupid. As I've told you before, I've always been the odd one out in my village amongst my people. I have nothing that holds me back in that place, besides the books and the scriptures that I have yet to read. But I've realized over the recent years that if I want to make my dream come true, I'll have to leave the place I've always called home behind me. You guessed right. I've been thinking of leaving someone next week, and I wanted to ask if you would perhaps consider accompanying me, since it would help you in your learning journey. I am comfortable being by myself. I don't mind solitude, but I believe that being with someone that shares my thirst for knowledge, my desire to achieve my goal, I believe it'll be a far richer and more interesting adventure. But, of course, now that I think about it, I realize how foolish it was to even consider asking you to leave everything you've ever known behind. I mean, I know you're already putting your life at risk just by coming out here to these woods in the first place. But I don't know just how much you want to become a witch. I can't ask you to leave your grandmother alone, and you and your grandmother don't live alone together? I guess I keep assuming wrong things today. I don't know what's wrong with me. No, it's true. I didn't meet you here by pure coincidence today. I was seeking you. I did use magic to find you out here. I wanted to see you after I finished reading that book. I thought we could travel together to the faraway lands of witches, where you can find a suitable mentor and finally be amongst your peers. I'm sorry, I should have just... Yes? What do you mean, yes? You'll travel with me? You haven't even really thought about it all much yet. I see. So you were planning on leaving your village at some point too. That's amazing. It really is. When do you think you'll be ready to go? Alright. I still have some unfinished business back in my village. I think I'll have all of it sorted out in about a week from now. Will that be good? That's great. I'll be on my way back home now. Would you like to keep that book with you? I mean, will you be safe? See you here. Same time next week? See you then. Hiya! Saki here. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope that I was able to bring you some happiness, peace, and comfort. If you want to support me on Twitch, feel free to. I stream about every day. You can also subscribe to the YouTube channel. That would make me really happy. You can also find me on Patreon, Discord, or Twitter. Thank you so much for everything you guys do for me. I really, really appreciate it. Now, take care. Mwah.